You know what's really funny? I don't know if you know this, but we share a few SERPs.
Okay. Oh, which
We,
ones?
so I always used to give this example about how easy it is to use YouTube to rank on Google. And the example that I would give is link echoes. And I made a bunch of videos for the term link echoes. This amazing. Would you like to explain echoes? Because you're on this SERP as well.
Yeah, it's actually funny that you say that term because I remember when I was researching who had talked about it and I found like nothing. I was like, nobody's ever talked about this other than Rand, who is the only one that I found from like 2014. So maybe it's easy to dominate that SERP because there's not a lot of people talking about it. Maybe we shouldn't talk about it. We're gonna make all this competition for ourselves.
Everyone's gonna do it. No, I mean, okay. So what happened was I started. It was I think it was like the middle of 2024, and I started seeing all of my videos ranking on Google, and I'm like, what happens if I just put my keyword at the beginning of my YouTube video, at the beginning of my YouTube short? And I did that, and then 8 hours later, it was ranking #1. And so I always used to give this example for link echoes because I mean, you said there was no one talking about it, but I was like the one,
Okay,
me and Rand.
you and
Me and
Rand.
Rand.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
But and then it was you. And then I started going to the SERP to get the screenshot, but then there was Joy on the
That's so
SERP talking
funny.
about link echoes with YouTube Shorts.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how often people use the term, but yeah, it's certainly something that we have seen in like doing link building and stuff for clients where it's you get the benefit of the link goes away, and then you don't necessarily lose the benefit.
Link ghosts.
Yeah, link
A
ghost.
super,
Yeah.
super spooky thing in search engine optimization.
I should have done a Halloween theme or something, but yeah,
Oh,
missed
that's
opportunity.
what's up. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming onto the show. I said this before, I think before we started recording, but you are a legend, and it is a pleasure to have you on.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to start with this. This is like my favorite question to ask. What are some crazy things that you're seeing in search engine optimization right now? Things that you can't stop talking about.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I would say that like the whole rise of AI is clearly disrupting everybody, right? So I've been slightly obsessed with trying to figure out how AI overviews like work. And I think I figured those out, but it's so different than ChatGPT, which is different than AI mode. So we're just running a lot of tests trying to figure it out. And the frustrating thing about ChatGPT and AI mode that I'm kind of annoyed with is they seem to be way less consistent compared to AI overviews. So it's really hard to measure what does what when you're looking at those because they're just so different. So I've been looking at that. I mean, link building, I'm always obsessed with. So I can talk about link building if that's not too boring. But
Well, you said link building is never boring.
no,
Link building is, I think, one of the most fun aspects of SEO because you can do so many interesting creative schemes to get
mm-hmm.
links. Like I love the creativity involved
Yeah.
with acquiring really high profile links. But you said you figured out AI overviews.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically, it's very similar to featured snippets. We've been able to take them over usually by just like changing around formatting of the page. So, this still works very well for featured snippets. But I think one of the best examples is, how to clean a toilet. If you want to answer the question, how to clean a toilet, you have to like answer it with like, here is how to clean a toilet, and then list like the examples, right? So just repeating the question and the answer, making sure that like the actual keywords are like close together. Like it's not rocket science, but it seems to be just as easy to take those over as it is feature snippets.
All right, so I think this would be a good question. What would an amateur do trying to get onto an AI overview
Hmm.
versus what would you do?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what an amateur would do. It's hard to think and get the 20 years out of my brain that I've been
But like
working in the
you
SEO
know,
industry.
you see common mistakes all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest mistakes I see people make on their sites is they don't have any internal links. Like, can't tell you how often I see that with small businesses. It's kind of mind blowing. But I would say that like not having any internal links on your site pointing to that page with the keyword you're targeting, like it seems too simple to miss, but most people miss it.
You mean like people will target keywords and just orphan pages?
Yeah, well, like they'll have a blog with tons of informational content, but nowhere ever links to that blog other than their blog in their menu. That's the only link that they have for it. And then they don't link in that blog anywhere to any other pages on their site. So That's probably one of the biggest things I don't see people doing.
Yeah, that is a very commonly mentioned SEO thing, which is just
Yeah.
interlink, interlink,
Yeah.
interlink.
But people still, again, I work with small businesses. So I think we're talking people that don't do SEO. And I feel like a lot of them, they hire agencies that just do, I don't know, stuff to their Google business profile and then don't even touch their website, which is bizarre to me. Because I think the business profile is important, but if you don't touch your website, like you're leaving so much on the table. I remember going on a podcast once where they were like, what should we do next to like make this Google profile rank? And I'm like, how about create a website? It doesn't have a website
Yeah,
on
there
it.
was no website.
No,
What? No
I was
website?
like, oh my goodness, this is easy. Yeah, I mean, I talk a lot about reviews recently, so I can certainly talk about that. That's
Yeah,
something I've
please.
been, yeah. So I do believe that Google is kind of ups the dial on what I call review recency. So, how many reviews have you had as of late? As of late, not how many do you have total. We see this a lot with clients. They'll stop getting new reviews, and then the rankings start to plummet. And it's really easy pattern to see when you're looking at businesses all day long, right? So we actually created a tool internally that will look at competitors and the average volume that they are getting per month to tell us basically what a business needs to get per month to keep on top. So if all your competitors are getting 10 reviews a month and you are getting 2 a month, you are screwed. Over time, you will definitely fall off. So I think having a number is helpful. So that's something that we've been really trying to give business owners, like, here's what you should strive for every month. And it's better, obviously, if you're ahead of competition, not just keeping up with them. But that's the bare minimum, and you don't need a fancy tool. You could theoretically just count it manually if you wanted. I just didn't want to do all the math, so I had one of my colleagues, Noah Lerner, build one.
This is specifically with Google Business Profile.
Correct. Yep.
So, do you have aside from like, hey, do great things and then get some good 5-star reviews? Do you have specific tactics to get good reviews?
I'm tracking a few. So basically, we tell people to incentivize their employees. That seems to be the one that everybody can do no matter what. So never incentivize customers. That's like against a lot of laws and also against Google's guidelines. And it's kind of easy for them to catch you. So I wouldn't do that. But
Really?
incentivize.
It's easy to be caught.
I mean, people get caught just by they put it on flyers. They put it on social media, like, hey, leave us a review, enter to get to win this thing or get a gift card. I don't know. I've seen a lot of people caught. So
Wow.
I would not go that route. But incentivizing employees is just a way for your employees to actually care. And since they're the ones talking with customers all day, it's a good idea to give them an incentive to want to ask for those reviews. And we've even done it internally at my agency, and it totally works. Like the moment I'm like, hey guys, running a contest, like whoever gets the most reviews this week, it works every time.
This method of marketing is so effective, I had to make sure it wasn't against Google's rules before I kept doing it. It's a form of SEO I call compact keywords. Whereas most SEO focuses on putting up articles to answer questions how, what, when, compact keywords focuses on putting up dozens of pages that sell to searchers who are actually looking to buy. These pages rank on Google and convert so much better than normal that when I discovered this years ago, I couldn't believe this was allowed. It's less work too. The average compact keywords page is only 415 words. Compact Keywords is a 13-hour deep course on getting sales with SEO. A customer recently said, each lesson is dense with information. You're giving years worth of experience boiled down into 15 to 30-minute lessons with no filler or fluff. I feel like I'm gaining a new superpower. Compact Keywords is about setting up an SEO funnel that brings you sales for years and years and years. It works with AI, it's less work than traditional SEO, and it makes way more money. You can get it now at compactkeywords.com. Back to the podcast. Incentivize employees.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Yeah.
is simple. It's something that everybody can do. Like, doesn't matter what kind of business you run.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Reviews are so just crazy important. That they are really neglected.
Yeah. No, it's the one thing too that like as an agency, I can't really I'm not going to go buy reviews. So other than that, you can't really get a business reviews. Like it's not something we can control, but it is a deal breaker in the sense that we actually are telling people that we're onboarding when we're doing audits and things. Like if you can't hit this number, you shouldn't pay for SEO because you can do all the things in the world. And if you don't do that, you're not going to stay in the local pack. Like you might get there, but you won't stay there. So it's kind of like a deal breaker for us.
Did you hear about the driving directions trick? This was
Oh,
this
that,
was from Bill Hartzer.
oh
He
yeah.
shared it. You've heard about it?
Oh yeah. Actually, I was just with the girl that like I swear invented this whole thing, like Holly
Really?
Starks.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. It's like it's her thing. I think. I mean, I don't know anybody else who
Can you
did it
say
to
her
the
name
level.
again?
Holly Starks.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was just at our event at Local U, and we did a mastermind the day before. The thing is, I've heard people say, and we don't do this type of CTR manipulation. Like I don't really touch click through rate manipulation as a tactic, but I've heard a lot of people say that it's not working as well anymore, and that Google is getting better at detecting it. I don't know that from my own experience.
Let me tell you what happened. So
Yeah.
I made a video about I've made like so many videos about this now. My video is like this is a really viral topic in SEO.
Hmm.
Whenever I make a video about it, it gets hundreds of thousands or millions of views. Whenever I do it, it is for some reason people are just so interested in this.
Yeah.
And so the first time that I made a video about this, and I didn't expect it to do well, I was literally just sharing Bill Hartzer's comment on Reddit. And the first time I made this video and it went really viral, a Google engineer commented and said, "Oh yeah, we got to patch this. This is a problem."
How long ago was that?
It was like a year ago.
There you go. I'm like, this is funny because it's one of those things where when you go on a show and people ask you about tactics, there's lots that I'll talk about. There are things I won't talk about because that's what happens. I've done it before where I've talked about something and then Google goes and changes something and then your thing no longer works. So it's a hard position to be in as an SEO. Like,
It's a hard position to be in as somebody who makes content about SEO because you want to
right?
get the best, the freshest insights to
I
your
get it.
viewers, to your listeners, but at the same time, you don't want to ruin great things.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's always a struggle. We have several hundred tests going on at any given time. And there's a couple recently that we are almost done that look really promising. And my team's literally begging me not to publish them.
Oh
they're
my
like,
gosh.
they're like, don't tell anybody,
Just share
Julie. No.
just a little morsel, please.
Oh my God. But like they're begging me not to. And I'm like, I kind of get it. One that I have decided we're going to publish is our results on press release testing. So it's funny, press releases are something that I'm like 2025 did not think I would be talking about press releases, but years ago we tested them many times. They didn't work. Like we couldn't get them to do anything to lift rankings. And I think something that I've learned is it's not the tactic, it's the process. So it's how you do it, not necessarily what you do. And I think this is why SEOs disagree so much on what works and what doesn't work, because they're looking at different things or they're trying different processes. So in this case, I think it was the press release network you were using was just not good. Like, and the way that we did the press release wasn't good, and what we did it about wasn't good, so it didn't work. So I'm gonna probably dive more into like what we're doing with press releases because I do plan on publishing a video about it. But we're using a network from a guy named Randy Rhodes. He's the news guy, SEO news guy, or I'm gonna butcher his name. Anyways, his network we've been trying. It does work. We've seen that it doesn't just impact organic rankings, which all links usually do, but it's also seeming to make a dent in AI as well, which is interesting. So AI mode, ChatGPT, and AI overviews. I think it goes along with that whole like AI wants fresher content. So a press release is something with a news date on it and can help contribute to that. So weird that tactic works in 2025, but here we are.
Does he have a press release distribution service?
Yes.
What is it called?
I'd have to look up the exact link, but
It's not AB Newswire, is it?
I've no, although I heard that one is good as well. That's on my list to
Yeah,
try.
yeah, that one is actually so this guy Harpreet, I had him on the podcast to talk about this, and he's awesome, really, really interesting SEO. He came from a black hat world because he was doing SEO for like cannabis back when you weren't supposed to do SEO for cannabis, and so he had to basically figure out like how to really do crazy SEO that you shouldn't be able to do. And he made a press release for his newsletter, SEO Espresso. He put out this recent press, like it's a new press release using AB Newswire. AB Newswire has a package. If you pay $500 for a year, every press release is $6. So you can do infinite press releases for like $6.
Yep.
Or if you just want to do one, Randy is AB Newswire Randy Rhodes. Is it the
No,
same
I don't
you're
think that's
talking?
his. So I'll how do I send you a link via chat? I'm gonna send you the link because I pulled it up here. Um, if there's a way for me to send you a link in
Yeah,
here.
there's a chat here, but I never use it. This interface that we're
It's
recording on is
38 digital. Hold on, this is my affiliate link, so this is actually not. It's thenewsguy.com.
okay. Thenewsguy.com. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And
So
it is different than the one you're talking about because the one you're talking about was the when this came up at the mastermind I was at, they were like, "Oh, we use this one," and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna have to try that one as well."
oh, cool. So people were talking about this. Yeah. Yeah. So it's $6, or you could just do one press release for $80, or you could try to go through Fiverr and see if anybody is sharing one of these $500 per year packages, which sometimes Fiverr people do, and you distribute your press release through it, and it influences AI overviews, it influences ChatGPT, it
Yep,
influences Perplexity. I haven't checked AI mode, but I wouldn't be surprised if it influenced AI mode as well. And
it
it's like when
does.
someone is doing it does. So there we go. When someone is doing due diligence on your company and they're going to these AI tools, the AI tools are quoting the press release that you wrote.
Yep. Yep. Seen it. It's crazy. I'm just like, really? And they're quoting these like sites that are, clearly not very high authority websites that you would expect. And the funny thing is like they don't rank organically. Like a lot of the sites they're quoting, you won't see those sites rank for anything on Google, which is interesting. And I feel like AI
No,
is a
well,
lot.
I have actually. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I have
Yeah,
seen
you've seen
the
them rank.
I've seen the AB Newswire distribution sites rank. Yeah,
So I've seen them rank for branded terms. I should clarify that.
yeah. Okay, for branded terms.
Yeah. But like they're not sites that you would normally see ranking organically. So it seems like the AI section on Google is very immature compared to Google's algorithm because usually with Google's algorithm, like the normal, 10 blue links, we see that like your site has to have some type of authority to influence ranking there. So it's just funny how everyone's talking like AI is smarter. I'm like, it's actually pretty stupid. I don't know. It's easier to influence with some of these lower quality sites.
Yeah, I think AI is very stupid.
My husband says it's like a 3-year-old child. It believes everything you tell it.
Yeah, that's a really good way to describe it. I mean, so I had on this guy Jesper Neeson just a few days ago, and he discovered, and then this got patched, probably because I made some viral videos about it. I don't know if it was me, I don't know if it was him, I don't know if the combination of us, but he found out that Claude artifacts. You could make an artifact with Claude, which is like just you could just make this like plain simple HTML that gets published to the web and gets indexed, and you make it with Claude, and now it's ranking, and it was ranking for branded and non-branded keywords, and it was influencing AI overviews and Perplexity, but not ChatGPT. And then now I don't see any of our Claude artifacts ranking anymore.
Darn, I just actually had that on my list to try because I'm like, I don't pay any attention to Claude. But yeah, sad to know that I should just axe that off my list. Doesn't work
I
anymore.
think, well, it interestingly, like a day after I noticed that our artifacts were gone, I had somebody in my podcast about it, a commenter say, "Oh my God, I tried this. It worked. Like 5 hours later, my artifact was ranking." So maybe it's like mostly patched. I'm still like, but my artifacts are gone. Jesper's artifacts are gone. But maybe it's worth a try because it's the type of thing it takes a few seconds to do.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's interesting. The whole parasite SEO thing, or like publishing the same content on other sites. It has its pros and cons, but I have yet to find a like good use case for a small business because ultimately, like we don't want like a LinkedIn post ranking or a Claude artifact ranking. We want their website ranking, right? So it's easier when you're doing like affiliate marketing, I guess, as long as you get a click from the link, it
Well,
matters.
I'm going to challenge you on that. I would say
Yeah,
you want what's going to get sales, and if an
sure.
artifact is going to say the things about the company that drives conversions.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. Like, I mean, again, it's not really a sales thing. If I'm looking for like a plumber, am I going to read a Claude artifact and then call a plumber based on that? Like, I don't know, maybe.
Well, it's
But
like Reddit parasite SEO,
mhm,
which is super common. And actually, Reddit is very common for local parasite SEO. So
mhm.
people search best plumber Chicago, a Reddit thread comes up. It's a bunch of parasites who are literally it's a bunch of SEOs who have plumber clients, and a lot of people trust that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, on Reddit, it's so easy to find and ban those if you do find them. Like they're so obvious. So I would say Reddit's probably the hardest one to do that on. I wouldn't even try. But I don't know. Reddit, I think there's a better way to do Reddit than go fake a bunch of comments and like recommend yourself as the best. I would
There's
probably,
definitely a better way to do it.
yeah. I
I
wouldn't
will
do
say
any of that kind of stuff at all.
I'm not going to admit having any experience with this. I have no experience with this. I don't even know anything. I'm just a dumb internet commenter. But local subreddits are really easy for local parasite SEO, because the thing is, like, the bigger subreddits, they really have strict rules and they have mods who know what is up. But the local subreddits tend to be smaller.
Hmm.
The mods are asleep half of the time, and the rules aren't as developed. And so for local businesses, local subreddits are like basically a gold mine for parasite SEO. The thing is, you don't want to go overboard and do it. You don't want to do it too much. That's just a easy street to getting caught. Not that I know anything, and not that I have experience with any of this, but yeah, the local subreddits for local parasite. And actually, I got this tip from a newsletter reader, and I had made something. I put up a newsletter about like Reddit parasite SEO, and then one of my readers was like, "Oh, try this," and I didn't try it, but but yeah, it's crazy.
See, I don't know. Again, this is the type of SEO we do. I stay clear away from anything where we are recommending a business or a client. I just, to me, like that falls into a serious gray area when it comes to just being honest. And again, there's lots of rules in the States on things like that. And like actually creating fake comments on Reddit to recommend yourself is theoretically illegal. So I don't do anything like that for clients, but we are exploring how to do Reddit just the natural way, which is like, having a business participate on conversations where they have expertise and then offering advice and then getting leads that way. So that does work. It's certainly harder and more long term, but that's always the approach I go to SEO. I look for the things that are harder but work long term, and versus the like easy, quick tricks that undo themselves in 2 to 3 months.
I was actually thinking about this before the podcast. There were two directions that I wanted to go on. One, it was just a quick shout out to Mike Friedman, who connected us. And Mike, SEO Pub, I had him on the show because he comments on a lot of Reddit threads in the SEO subreddit under SEO Pub. I found one of his articles through that. I said, "Would you like to come on?" He came on. He was great. He connected us, and like, absolutely, that's great. And then the second thing, which I was thinking about, was actually, I think, a very common mistake that people make. I like to talk about these short-term tricks because they're more viral, they're more interesting. The getting around the rules tricks are more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But exactly what you said, which is doing the straightforward white hat things, is that's like basically what you need to do. Most people spend way too much time trying to do the tricks, wasting time that don't even work for them most of the time. And if they had just focused on exactly what you are describing, they'd be so much better off. But they
Yeah.
waste all of their time on these stupid little party tricks.
I mean, I caught a SEO company doing the Reddit strategy where they were going and recommending. It was really easy. I mean, again, they kind of hid their tracks because it wasn't the only comments they were leaving, but you go in their profile and you look and you can see like this one person just keeps recommending all these different businesses and like there's absolutely no way they're real. And those threads did probably rank for a couple months until they all got banned. So now they're not anywhere. So it's like, okay, yes, did it work? Sure. It worked for a couple months until somebody caught it. Now they're all banned. The entire profile's gone. All their comments are gone. So all the work they did for all their clients is nullified in a second. So I'm big on trying not to do any SEO strategies for clients that could literally get unwrapped overnight if the wrong person catches something. Um, so yeah, like I do think that the long term. It's funny when you said YouTube is easy. I'm like, my God, I don't think YouTube's easy. But
Nope.
like no, I mean we have spent so much time and effort getting our YouTube channel good. We are actually in the process of next week or maybe this week, we're going to be launching an announcement. We just acquired a YouTube channel that is 18 times the size of ours. And
Congratulations. Wow.
thank you. Yeah, it's huge. So like that's going to be huge and massive. But the person that did that channel spent 8 years and like grew it naturally and organically, never ran any ads, like never did any of that stuff. I'd say the YouTube game is a perfect example of one that is like super hard, lots of work, but like, man, if you nail it long term, it's amazing. Because it's like videos you made years ago will continue to get thousands of views if it's a good video. Which is great, right? That's kind of what we want. We want like evergreen content as much as we can that's really good, that's going to continue to bring in traffic, leads, etc.
How are you going to repurpose that evergreen content for your agency? Will you? I guess well, you could change out the ending screens to recommend your videos and your links.
Oh no, we're not at all. We're not changing the brand at all. We're just going to keep it going with new faces. And the person that runs the YouTube channel, we're keeping them on for a while. But we're just integrating new faces, and like the website is ours, the email, the entire brand is
Wow.
ours, but it's a YouTube brand.
I'm really looking
Um,
forward to this
yeah,
announcement to see
yeah,
who it is. Is
yeah.
it
It'll
someone
be
who a lot of us would recognize?
if you work in local SEO, you would.
Okay,
But
okay.
yeah, so it's very again like my agency is very focused on local SEO. It's all we do. We don't do like affiliate marketing, or if you wanted SEO for like a e-commerce brand that doesn't have any locations, that we would not be a good fit for that. We're like the people that work with like plumbers, doctors, lawyers, realtors, etc.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think the evergreen content is something that I think about a lot because what a lot of people don't realize is when you actually make something good on your site, it can be crazy evergreen. Like it can rank one for 5 to 10 years,
Hmm.
especially if you find the right keyword.
Yeah. Yeah, so we spend a lot of time in like updating, content and things like that. Like, one of the things I just talked about at Local U is we like to get stories from our clients, so like case studies. So again, I'll give an example. Like we have a painter client, and so getting like recent jobs that he's done, recent painting jobs, and putting those photos and the stories and the details of the job, like how much did it cost, how long did it take, where did you do this, what city was it in, that kind of stuff, and adding that to their site, and then keeping those pages updated over time has a really significant impact in not just local pack rankings, but like organic rankings as well. So that's an ongoing thing that a lot of people don't do is they don't add case studies to their website at all. And I'm not talking about a case studies page. I'm talking like on your, exterior painting page, adding a picture and a job of a house you did and all the details of that house. So it has to be detailed. Um, so that's something that we do is like maintaining and updating existing pages constantly. But you'll see some really great ranking benefits. And I'd say 99% of the sites we audit don't have any of this stuff on it when we first start working with them.
Yeah, that's so on point and explicitly showing images of the services of
Hmm.
like the real services, the real company, not obvious stock photos.
No.
Yeah, it's so that's so important. I want to shoot, I want to talk about link building in a second, but I have to ask you, do you like what are you've probably seen this like tons of times where you have a company that's trying to rank for multiple locations. So think
Hmm.
Plumber Chicago, Plumber Miami, Plumber New York. I'm thinking of something that's clear. It's not going to be that head. It's going to be more long tail. But what are ways to actually do this properly?
Yeah. So when you're dealing with a single site, it's easier to rank a business if they're all in like the same state. So it gets challenging when you're starting to try to rank a site for like cities all over the U.S. and stuff like. But it can be done, but it's harder. If you only have a few locations, our first suggestion is like list all your locations in the footer, like your full address, your phone number, your address, that stuff. Put it in there. Um, that shockingly makes a huge impact. And then on your actual pages that you want to rank for that town, just simply make sure that your location is listed on there with its hours. Like again, list the full address. We usually embed like a Google Business Profile map on there as well. Um, Simple things like listing the city name in your title tag, your headers, optimizing for like near you, stupid, but it works. So putting like, looking for a plumber near me or near you, sorry. And obviously you're targeting near me, but you would say near you. So doing that for all the different pages on your site. The thing that a lot of people don't realize is you have to like look in the search results and see For the organic section, what city Google's actually pulling in, because let's say you're targeting a suburb of Tampa, for example, you'll often find if you search in Tampa or in the suburb in Tampa, you'll actually get pages for Tampa. You won't get the suburb. So sometimes it's not actually the city that Google's looking for. It's like the general metropolitan area that they're looking for. So just looking to see what's in the search results and then creating that content. And usually you will want multiple pages targeting the same city, unless you only have one service. So if all you do is plumbing, you may not need more than one page about, plumber in whatever the city is. But if you do a bunch of other services, you would likely want one per city.
So you're not gonna make pages targeting specific suburbs. You're gonna just target the entire metropolitan area.
Depends on what Google's serving. So sometimes it helps and sometimes it doesn't.
Probably for like, it depends on the size of the city as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've been finding that like really small cities that are suburbs, a lot of times you'll make a page for that suburb and maybe it ranks for the suburb if anybody actually searches that. But if you just type in like plumber or plumber near me, then Google's defaulting to the actual city, the bigger city instead. So you want to focus on that page, not the
Even if somebody is searching it from the actual suburb.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So we've seen this a lot with, again, the organic results. When it comes to local pack, I mean, you just need an address and a business profile, right? That's the key thing. You can't really rank outside your area very well because Google's always going to favor business listings that have a location in that city.
When trying to target multiple cities, multiple locations, how do you avoid pages being doorway pages?
Yeah, this is tough. So I think the most I've seen on a client site, we have one client that I think is up to 1,200 different location pages, but they're a huge brand. So I would argue they can get away with it because they like are huge. When I say huge, like they're like trying to think how many figures. They're over 100 million a year in sales. So they can get away with having that many because they actually have like 70 or 80 real locations. And then each of those locations has a lot of service area pages. What I see for the average business is that you can't get away with having too many. So probably any more than 20, if you're a single location business, will likely not rank well. But it's one of those things you're not going to know until you try. And as far as how to differentiate them, I mean, they're really going to have a lot of the same content. So the only way to differentiate them is by, having reviews or jobs, like I was talking about. That's one of those ways that you can make the pages different and better is talk about like the jobs or services you did in those cities and give all your examples of like, here's a homeowner that we helped over in Dallas and here's a picture of what we did and here's the details, here's how much the job cost, etc.
Yeah, the pages have to they have to be programmatic. It's very similar to programmatic SEO. You have dependencies.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people though that like they've gotten nailed because all they did was just change the words around and like
No, that's not
reword
what I'm
things.
saying.
Yeah.
That's doorway pages. Those are that is against Google's guidelines. No. I'm saying actually like, yeah, you have reviews for the city. You have pictures of the city. You talk about the culture of the city and how your company fits into the culture. And you basically everything is like templatized, but the pages are and you have maps but the pages are templatized for each city, or they're unique for each city.
The one thing I will say, I've never seen it work at scale. So anybody I know that has tried launching a ton of them, we actually had a client that disagreed with me on this. They're like, no, I'm going to use the AI. And his were, I mean, they looked so good when you looked at the pages. Everything looked completely different. Like they weren't the same. They were well done. They had all the proper conversion points, like kind of what you're describing. He launched, I think, 200 at once.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And
That's
most
crazy.
of them did not get indexed. Like the whopping majority of them, just Google's like, no.
200 is a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've never seen it done at scale and be successful. And also, like, I've actually seen Google issue manual penalties for it too, as
And
well.
those pages were very unique.
Yeah, they were really, really well done. Like, as a human being looking at them, I was like, this is decent.
But to me, that comes off as scaled content abuse. Launching 200 pages at once. I'm curious now if this person scaled it up very slowly.
Right. That might have worked better. But again, like we've seen in some business types, these pages don't rank at all. It depends on what you're up against, right? So for lawyers, for example, they don't really work. And the reason why is there's so many lawyers that actually have locations in that city and more authority and things that are already established for you to come in with one single page. You don't have an address in the city, you don't have a location, you don't really have any links pointing to that page. You're not going to overtake all these ones that Google already has. But if you're like a lawn care business where there's not a ton of competition and most of your competitors probably can't even afford SEO because you don't charge enough as a lawn care business to pay for SEO, then it's a lot easier in that case because you're not up against nearly as much when it comes to competition. So I always tell people, like, whenever we start working with the business and we think, are we going to create service area pages? I don't know. Let's try like one or two, see how it goes. If they go well, then continue to create more. But it is very hit or miss. Like some of them work, some of them don't.
I really, really, really appreciate that advice, which is start with one or two,
Yeah.
make sure that it's a common mistake that I see a lot from people as well, which is they're trying to do everything at once, get some successes,
Mm-hmm.
make sure everything is good, everything is in order, and then scale up the successes.
Yeah. No, it's hard to get, like I said, with the word scale, I think is a difficult thing when you're trying to go the like long-term approach. Because I think anything at scale can often be dangerous in SEO. Anytime that it's, easy enough for Google to pick up, like they don't really want you link building. So I would say link building at scale is super dangerous. I don't go for volume when it
The
comes
thing
to
about
links.
the thing about scale that confuses a lot of people, and you talked about this when you mentioned that 100 million per year brand, is it's you want to scale up in proportion to how much your brand is growing and how
Hmm.
many links you have and how many brand searches
Yeah.
you have and how much bigger you're getting on other marketing channels.
Yeah. No, it was no big deal for them to have 1,300 location pages because they actually have like 70 plus or 60 plus, can't remember the exact number of locations nationwide. So, and they have a lot of like offline, regular type advertising going to all this stuff. There's a lot of really natural signals. So I don't think the average business could get away with that many.
Yeah, if you just scale up, if you like when I say scale, I mean like when I say scale, I mean you're also scaling other parts of the business in tandem.
Sure. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. And that's something that it's just I think it's this like old school methodology, which is like just do the SEO and that's all, where it's like the best way to do SEO. Rand came on the show, he talked about this. Basically every SEO that I have had on the show has had the same thing, which is diversify your marketing.
Hmm.
The best way, I think that's actually the best way to do SEO as well, is to
Yeah.
have a holistic approach towards it.
Yeah, I'm starting to think of like if we even need to come up with a different term. I still fall under the umbrella of SEO, but like we're including social, we're including like AI stuff now. And I'm like, I kind of think it's all SEO, but like I would never have a social media product that's just like social media. We do social now as a part of SEO because I've been doing it for my own company for so long. And I see that there are SEO benefits to being active on various social platforms.
Like what?
So like Reddit, for example, I think again, like the approach that I go there is the natural one. I'm super active on Reddit. I'd say the thing that has the most SEO value for Reddit is doing AMAs. So ask me anything threads. I've done a few of them. You can be promotional in the introduction. Usually mods will be fine with it. So you can say like, "Hey, I'm Joy Hawkins. I did one where I was like, I've done 350 audits this year or something like that. Um, Ask me anything." And of course, there was a link in my bio. And of course, it was like related to audits and nobody cared. Like I asked the mods, they were like, yeah, I don't care. Because you're doing an AMA, you're getting tons of traction to their subreddit. The thread ended up getting a lot of comments, so it ranks really well. I actually would prefer the page it links to ranks, but of course, the Reddit thread ranks on Google now for like local SEO audits. So AMAs can be really good for ranking for your own brand name, because a lot of brands struggle with negative Reddit threads that are ranking for their brand name. So that's kind of one of the ways that you could potentially displace a negative Reddit thread is do an AMA. But it's work. Like I had to spend all day responding to people on Reddit that were asking me questions, and I'm helping them for free. But it's an SEO play that I think really has benefit. We've been able to measure links from Reddit, like just one link, as long as the thread is a good thread, gets lots of traffic, which AMAs do. You can actually see ranking increases from a single link from Reddit.
That's awesome. What do you have any advice for people who are maybe not Joy Hawkins who want to do AMAs?
Yeah, I mean, so you're not going to be able to do it if you're not active on Reddit, because in order to post in a lot of subreddits, you have to have a certain amount of karma. You can't just go get set up an account and then tomorrow go do it in AMA. So when we're starting with clients, we basically like interact with the client, make sure that we are answering as them with correct advice, right? So like I treat it kind of like earned media. So when we have journalists, for example, that want to interview, I don't know, a lawn care expert, they need a quote. We'll get one from our client. We'll give it to the journalist. We're like that middleman. So we work the same way with social media. We're like that middleman. We're like, we need an answer on this. Give it to me. The client gives it to us. Reword it slightly, make it a little better. Post it as them. So once you've got enough posts, you don't need like a ton for a couple months. That's when I would probably say do an AMA. I wouldn't go in with a brand new Reddit account and be like messaging mods and be like, can I do an AMA? You're going to get rejected from every single one.
That's really cool. So the mods see you contributing a lot, and then they will let you do an AMA.
Totally. But like, if you're a lawyer, for example, you know how many like subreddits there are about law where people ask questions? Like it is so easy for you to go in there and answer questions. And again, we are doing this for our clients using their content as answers or whatever. But you can't just start sending links to your site. That'll get you kicked out in 5 seconds. So you got to actually provide value. But we've actually seen that this will drive leads. Like you go on there, you give somebody advice or expertise. Guess what? They're going to want to hire you. This is literally how I've done my entire career. Like we give out advice everywhere on forums all the time. And then people find those threads and they're like, oh, this person knows what they're talking about. So it's not crazy difficult, but it's like, I don't know why a lot of business owners would prefer to go have somebody recommend them and lie on Reddit versus like, no, just go and like help somebody. And then guess what? Like users down the road will find that thread and they'll find that helpful and they'll contact you. And so it's a lead magnet, but it's also, again, working up to a point where it can actually be an SEO thing as well.
White hat SEO is the best SEO. I agree with that. What is no, I really do. I really do. As somebody who has no experience with parasite SEO, like I said, but I also really agree that white hat SEO, my SEO course, Compact Keywords, is entirely white hat. And I say that on the landing page. It's entirely white hat. One, I don't want to be responsible for getting people penalized. Two, like I know how amazing it is to have your pages rank for 5+ years
Yeah.
where you like, yeah, it's the best.
And not lose sleep when an algorithm update comes out.
Yeah, not lose sleep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
I've
Thank
had
you for
some
saying
clients get crushed by algorithm updates because of stuff they did prior. Like it's so frustrating. And I see it all the time. Usually it's links. Almost every single time I see people getting like destroyed by algorithm updates, it's something they did with links. So it's almost always tied back to that. But they don't know because they have no idea what they're hiring people to build for them.
Okay, so that's a perfect segue. So, okay, link building mistakes and then cool link acquisition tactics.
Yeah, so mistakes, actually the big one that I've seen Google nailing lately is guest posting in mass. So when people, for example, I had a home services business that I think over the course of 2 years, I had 400 guest posts done. And I know because the company that did them gave him a list. So we actually had a track record. And he got nailed a couple of years ago with an algorithm update. One of the core updates, can't remember which one, but like he got nailed. Like, and it was all the pages that had links pointing to them. It was for the keywords that you saw in the guest posts that were all rich keyword anchors. Really, really easy patterns for Google to get. But I think what Google's been doing is they're nailing the guest posting sites. So when I go to SEO conferences and there's link vendors all the time and they have booths, I'll go and I'll check out some of their sites. And what I've been seeing is that their sites as of 2023 and on are just tanking. Like the sites aren't ranking well. And so if the site isn't ranking well, the value of the link is going to be way less. Maybe nothing, right? I'd venture a lot of these are worth nothing. So we're starting to see that. And then that matches the pattern that we saw with this client site where like, yeah, oh, your site's tanking because the links that are coming to your site are from sites that are tanking. So if Google's targeting them, guess what? They're also targeting you for getting those links. So you got to get links from sites that aren't tanking. And the metric I usually use to evaluate this in Ahrefs is the organic pages metric, which I don't think anybody ever talks about, but it is a metric that they have that a lot of their competitors don't have. And it measures how many pages on the site actually rank and do well on Google. So if you're getting links from a site that's got millions of pages and you want to know how that site's performance is, that's the metric you want to look at. So that's the metric I use to evaluate like citations. Like, is Yelp getting better or worse? Or Reddit. You could look at that for Reddit. Say, like, are more Reddit threads ranking now than there were, 2 years ago?
What was that metric?
Organic pages. It's not
Organic
traffic,
pages. Yeah.
because traffic is misleading, because if you have 2 or 3 pages that get millions of visits, then it can make your traffic look awesome. But like, I really want to know how many pages are ranking on a site.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that's something that honestly is just not talked about. It's like people somehow think like if domain authority, domain rating is everything,
It's
and it's
not.
not. Yeah.
These sites all had like amazing domain ratings, and like they're so high, and then you look at their traffic and it's like this giant mountain with this huge cliff, and it's like, but they don't lose their domain ratings. I don't understand that metric. It's very confusing to me. But like, you should lose your domain rating if you lose all your traffic, you'd think, but it didn't. Like, these were all 50, 60 domain rating sites, and they had a million links pointing to them. But my God, like, there's no way that these have any value, because they get no traffic at all.
So you saw, okay, so spammy link building tactics. You saw someone who was doing just way too many guest posts.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you've seen that's gotten like potential clients or clients hit?
Yeah, I think guest posting is the only one I've ever seen done at scale that a lot of SEOs use, right? It's like the most common type of link building. Like, when you hire somebody for SEO, like 9 times out of 10, they're doing guest posts. And this is what we've seen time and time again on reports from other agencies and people that we're auditing. So that's by far the most common. I can't say I've ever seen another link building type get penalized, because it doesn't get spammed enough to get
You haven't seen like
penalized.
PBNs, like people still doing PBNs or anything like that?
We don't run across PBNs very often, but I certainly know other SEOs that have spoken out against them and said that they've seen the results of people getting nailed from PBNs. I have not witnessed that, but I'm sure it happens all the time.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so somebody's starting. Actually, I like this question. One of my best performing videos. I'm telling you, as someone who also makes SEO content. So, but it was
I'm
one of
taking
my
taking
early
notes.
best. Yeah, and well, it was how to build links for a new site.
Mm.
And I made this. I had like a comment. It's a commenter was like, "Hey, can you make a video on how to build links for a new site?" So I did that, and I couldn't believe how well it did.
Hmm.
And so I think it's a topic that a lot of people are interested in. So okay, how does Joy Hawkins build links for a new website?
Well, one tactic I think that any small business that we work with could easily do. I shouldn't say easily. Nothing's easy. Um, Something that they could do is, any person that starts a business generally knows other business owners. Like, usually, you're in a network, or you have other businesses that you hire. So I'll use a lawyer example. Let's say you're a lawyer, a personal injury lawyer. You probably have a chiropractor that you send leads to, because as you get accident victims with injuries and stuff, you need a chiro. You usually need a therapist or physical therapist. There's a bunch of different things. You probably have a real estate agent that helped you buy your office that you work with. So the way that I approach guest posting is, like, ask them if you can contribute content to their site that is relevant. So again, there's lots of overlap between these industries, things that you could write about. And most of them are fine with it. So that's a good way to get an article on their site with a link to your site in it. And we found a lot of success with this. Again, you don't need numbers. So are you going to get 500 of these? Absolutely not. Will you get like 5 to 10? Yes, you can get like 5 to 10. And 5 to 10, you will measure the impact of those links. Like, we've seen for this tactic, I can almost always measure the impact just from one single link.
So these aren't two-way links.
No, no. And that's, sometimes we get that. They're like, oh, well, you're going to link to me. I'm like, no, like, that's not the goal here. But I mean, theoretically, they could. I don't see any harm in
No,
that.
well, you're guest posting on their site, and so
Right.
they're linking to you, but you are not linking to them.
No, unless, I mean, they wanted to do the same thing and give you content. But again, the content has to be good. So I'm not talking about like, go ask ChatGPT to write an article on that thing. Like, you want to make sure the content is relevant to their site. So we had this, sorry, I have so many lawyer examples, but we had a personal injury lawyer that wrote for an insurance agent. And he talked about like what happens when you get in a car accident without insurance. Super relevant to the insurance agent. In fact, it was like one of their top pages,
Wow.
and super relevant to the personal injury lawyer, obviously, since he deals with this all the time. So it's like a win-win for both people.
Yeah, guest posts when done well can be really cool.
Yeah.
It can up your brand, honestly. Like, you have like this cool, knowledgeable guest writing for your brand, and that
Hmm.
makes you look good.
Yeah. It's usually one of those things that you can get like 5 to 10. Beyond that, it's going to be more challenging, right? Because now you've kind of gone outside your network and the people that you know. So I would say it's not a super scalable thing, but it doesn't matter because you can, again, like increase ranking for whatever keywords you want fairly easily with this tactic because nobody's doing it because it's hard. And it's not something like, again, they want something where they can go push a button and get 5,000 links. But I would argue that those will only benefit you for maybe a month or two, and then they get undone, and then your ranking reverses, and then you're back to square one.
You said you would use guest posts for certain keywords.
So like when you're writing these articles, if you want to like include a link to your site, guess what? Like you're writing the article, you can control the anchor text. I haven't run across a case any so far where they like asked you to remove the link or anything. Like they're not, and there's nothing nefarious. The article has to be good. It has to be like something interesting. And if you're not sure what to write about, my go-to is always like, check the people also asked section on Google for your industry, see what people are actually asking about that can help cater your content.
But you're so the link that's going back to your site, it's not just going back to your root domain. It might be going
No,
to a specific page with is
exactly.
it are you using exact match?
We are definitely using, yeah, exact match
Okay, so
anchors.
using
Again, it's
exact match anchor text.
because you're not overdoing this. This is not a spammy tactic. In fact, like I think I don't know what Google would. I don't even care what Google says. Google says all links are bad anyways, so what do we care? But I think again, keyword rich anchors are dangerous when you do them at scale. If you get like five
Yeah.
of them, you're fine. This is where PBNs, I guess, fails, right? They do like dozens and dozens, and then all of a sudden it's easy for Google to detect. But you don't need dozens. You need a couple, and then move on to something else.
Do you have thoughts on directories?
Uh, most of them are completely useless. There's the odd ones that's still valuable. Like we tell people, the BBB is great because Google uses it as an authority signal to prove that you actually have a business. So that one's a good one. Yelp always ranks, so it's always a good one. And there's some in certain industries that still rank really well on Google that are worth getting links from, but I think the majority are a waste of time.
How about niche directories? So you look for directories that are specific to your niche and then include yourself in them and you have a rich description about your brand.
Again, depends on the industry. So there are lots in lawyers that do really well, like super lawyers, lawyers.com, Avo, etc. You move to insurance, for example, there's almost none in insurance. Like there are no niche directories that rank anywhere. So it does vary based on the industry.
Yeah. Yeah. And you said there are some good general business directories though.
Very few.
Okay.
Yelp, actually, MapQuest sometimes, I mean, it's worth being in. Facebook is actually like sometimes the social sites are more important as citations. Actually, I'd say they probably are almost always more important than directories. So, like, your Facebook page will rank better. Your even like your X profile will sometimes rank better for like a branded term than any directory will. And directories don't really rank as well for non-branded terms anymore. You almost never see them. Again, there's some industries where that's not true. So lawyers, you do see directories ranking in the search results still.
I heard an interesting tactic. Again, this one was from Jesper, who he uses about.me and Linktree and these places, and he creates profiles for the businesses on those.
Mm-hmm. I've done it. Can I say I've ever been able to track anything from it? No. And again, when I say no, we actually have a case study on our site talking about one of these. And I try to publish like a story, but we've done it tons of times for lots of other businesses as well. We'll see an increase and then it'll like it'll go back to where it was 1 to 2 months later. So anytime I'm like evaluating a tactic when we're about to roll it out to clients, I don't just look at like, did it work? I want to know like 3 months later, especially for link building, is it still, are those gains still there? So what we often found was that the gains would get undone with the types of links you're talking about. Like they would work, they'd lift you up, and then they'd get undone. Usually within 1 to 2 months. And usually what we found is like the links would get indexed. And as long as they were indexed, you're good. They would get unindexed, you would lose the benefits. That's the general trend that I saw with those types of links.
These are not the link echo links.
No, they're not. The link echo links are more like I would say that the guest posting type, where you're like quoted and something matters and then it goes away. Or maybe
Help
Reddit.
reporter out, sources,
Mhm.
sources, those
Mhm.
types. Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
have other aside from guest posts and like real solid directories? Do you have other link building strategies that you like?
Yeah, I mean, I know expired domains is kind of a sketchy tactic that a lot of people don't like to talk about, but you certainly do get like that does pass ranking benefit. So we've seen this time and time again with like acquisitions. You acquire a company, you get their domain, and then we redirect the domain. I found that, again, this is something small businesses are really dumb with. They usually just redirect it to their homepage. I'm like, don't do that. You want to redirect it to like your location page for that acquisition or that location. And then all of a sudden we see like massive increases. But the sad thing is it only seems to really help organic rankings, and we do not usually see it help local pack rankings at all. It's kind of a bummer. But that can be done if you have a business in your area that just went out of business and they were a well-established business, and you buy their domain and forward it to your site. It kind of works the same way like an acquisition.
Yeah, that one makes a lot of sense. And honestly, it's something I talk about that all the time, where you see people who will do great marketing initiatives for their sites, and they'll just be like, I don't want to work on this anymore. And so they'll just entirely give up the website. And the website
Yeah.
might have like really great backlinks that honestly keep the
Mm-hmm.
website. You could use it later. Like you could reactivate it. So a friend of mine, he made this site called focusmusic.fm. And this was I think maybe like 10 years ago or something. And he put it on Product Hunt. This was when Product Hunt was even more popular. It was like 10 years ago, Product Hunt was like really popular. And so he puts it on Product Hunt, and organically it gets #1 on Product Hunt, and it is going actually viral. And the next day it's a new site, and the next day it's ranking for Focus Music. Is it like the next, yeah, the next day, and he's getting really, really great links from like The Verge and Wired and top tech publishers. And it was this like simple little web app that he made in a day. And it was so cool. And it was getting all these links. And he got bored with it. And then he just gave up the domain. And I talked to him about this years later. And he's like, yep, I should have kept that. That was really valuable. I should have kept that. And there were so many things. Oh my gosh. You could restart it. You could rank for all these different music terms, or at
Yeah.
least, or 3-1 redirect it to something on a new site and have like a landing page like, this is the new home of Focus Music, something like that. But yeah, drives me crazy when I see that.
There you go. There's your new business link building tactic right there. Like if you're a new business and you're just starting a business and you need links, don't grab a brand new domain. Like go find one in your industry that somebody dropped because they went out of business. And there's tons. Like it's not that difficult, no matter what your industry is. And then use that as your website. And now you've got you're not starting from zero.
How do you prevent, when doing this, how do you prevent buying one that has a spammy backlink profile?
Oh, you got to check it, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. We don't just like go look. I mean, when you're deciding which ones to buy, you have to check their backlinks, right? So you certainly want one that looks really
How does
natural.
Joy Hawkins do that? How do you do that?
Yeah, so we use Ahrefs, and again, if it's like a real business, you're going to see that they have like a Yelp listing and they have like the solid things. Maybe sometimes they even have a Google Business Profile attached to it. I'm certainly looking at the anchors pointing to the site. Any like massive amounts of keywords rich anchors, like nope, not touching that. So we just look for one that has like natural brand mentions, and maybe like I think one of the best ones I ever got was one that like the domain had a keyword in it, which was awesome. And so a lot of their anchors automatically had a keyword in it because a lot of anchors are just a domain name. And then they also were like quoted in a couple like press release type places, and they were quoted in like I don't know, like news articles and things like that. So I was like, that's solid. Like, and they're really natural stuff. Like you can tell this person wasn't trying to do SEO. They just knew their things and people were quoting them. So that was probably the best looking one I've ever seen.
All right, I know I shouldn't bring this up.
Uh
I this because I get in. I wouldn't say I get in fights because I'm not really hostile towards anybody. People get in fights with me about this,
oh. Okay.
and people ask me, I want to start a site. Should I get an exact match domain? Should I get an EMD? And I'm like, well, the Google's API leak last year literally showed that EMDs get devalued. I'm not saying you can't rank with an EMD, because you can totally rank with an EMD, but I'm like, it's probably going to be harder for you.
Hmm. That's interesting. Okay.
I don't know if you saw that literally it actually, like, if you Google just like Google May API leak, exact match domains. This was one
Wouldn't
of the
surprise
things.
me. Yeah, it would surprise me. So I don't know if I do an exact match, but I certainly would want it to have it the main keyword. So again, like if you're a dentist and we're buying a domain for you, we want the word dentist in your domain if we can. and it's better than dentistry or some other variation, like the more specific. But I mean, good example. I think it was Scottsdale Dentist I was looking at the other day. I mean, the amount of like domains that rank, almost every single one has some variation of the word dentist or Scottsdale in it. Like it's wild. You don't
But
just
that's not
see like
exact. That's not exact
no,
match.
no. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying exact match. I'm saying like a variation of, or I should say it should include your keyword. I don't even know how you would test what you're saying if there's actually like some type of penalty for doing it. It would make sense, but I have no idea. Like I don't even know how I would test that.
Yeah. But I think what you said there is like it's you don't get exact match, but yeah, sure, you're a dentist, so why wouldn't you have dentist in the name of your brand? Or you
Yeah.
have the name of your brand and then you add dentist to it. And that doesn't I think personally I think exact match domains, they sound spammy. Like
Yeah.
I don't yeah, I personally like if it's for something important, I don't know if I would trust an EMD. I personally believe that they even sound spammy. That's my personal belief. And then the Google API leak said Google devalues these things, but I think
Yeah.
they sound spammy. But to your point, you have a brand name and then you add dentist to the end of it.
That's
That's
it.
not spammy.
Brand keyword. So Sterling Sky Dentist. That's your domain,
Yeah,
right?
that
Like,
sounds
yeah.
great.
Or Sterling Sky Dentist Scottsdale. That's your target. But like, yeah, that's not exactly what you're talking about. So
Yeah, I'm talking about I don't know like best Chicago plumber.
yeah.
Yeah.
Keywords in the URL or URL structure, if it's in their page, 1,000% impact ranking. Like that's where I'm like,
Oh
sometimes I
yeah.
see these really short URLs and I'm like, just, add a couple more, like make it a little longer. You're cutting yourself short. So
You should absolutely have the keyword in the URL slug.
mhm.
That's like yeah,
People
that's a
don't though.
I don't know if oh shoot, I can't
Flash
remember.
services is my favorite.
Yes. Oh
What
my
a
gosh.
great page.
Yes. Yes. The hub pages, the services hub page.
Oh, kills me. Yeah, we don't do hubs very often. I try to have as few like things between you and the page as possible. So I'm a big fan of like I don't even do folders. Folders I think are unnecessary and annoying. And so we just, everything off the root domain and have as few links as you can in your menu because that's another thing I see businesses do wrong. If you link to 500 pages in your menu, you are splitting your link equity between all those pages. Just put the ones in there that actually matter that converts, take all the others out, and you will see those ones increase.
And so do you put so what your footer will be just a bunch of these different bottom of funnel SEO landing pages?
No, I don't put anything in the footer
Oh,
for
you don't.
links.
It's all in
No,
the
it
heading navigation.
just in the header. Yeah, it's just easier for me to control there. And again, just minimal number of pages. So we remove more than we add.
And so maybe you'll have what? So you'll have like a bunch of like drop downs in the top navigation to make it like clean and organized, but you'll end up still having tons of links, tons of internal links in that
Yes.
heading navigation. And then each page, you're not using a subfolder. Each page is right off the root domain.
Yep.
Wow, that's cool. Um, all right, let's finish with this. For people doing local SEO, what is the biggest mistake? Just the number one mistake that you could tell people stop doing that drives me crazy. I see it every day. Please stop doing this. The number one thing.
Okay. I would say, so I'm trying to go with one that I haven't already mentioned to not be repetitive. So I would say opening hours is the biggest factor that people miss. So Google made hours a ranking factor about a year ago. So basically, when your business is closed, you won't rank as well as when your business is open. And I think this is a huge missed opportunity because theoretically, Google's rules state that if you have a storefront, your hours should clearly reflect when you're open. But a lot of businesses don't have a storefront or they're service-based businesses that are doing all their business over the phone. It's not like people are walking in like a store. In those cases, if you have a call answering service and you answer the phone, you can make your hours match that. So it is a massive ranking benefit to extending your opening hours because all your competitors will be closed. You'll be the only one open. You'll float to the top. And it is a huge missed opportunities that a lot of businesses don't take advantage of.
So you're saying, sorry, you answer the phone. You're like your doors are closed, but you
Correct.
answer the phone at this time.
Yeah. And again, this won't work for retail business. Like if
Mm-hmm.
if you're Target and you say that you're open, you're going to get pissed off customers if they show up and you're not open. So it will not work for retail, but where it does work is like service-based businesses, like the ones I've been talking about, lawyers, insurance. I'd say even possibly ones that require appointments, like dentists can sometimes do this because people aren't coming in unless they have an appointment anyway. So as long as you're not having people just drop in all the time, and that's not your business model, then this is a viable way for you to get a lot more leads.
Joy, this was great. This was such an insightful conversation. This was
Well, thank
really
you.
I got some stuff on this episode that I haven't even talked about.
No.
This is 804 days in a row
Wow.
doing this podcast, episode 804 of the show, and there were things that you talked about that I haven't talked about on this
Oh,
podcast. So that was
cool. It's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Thank you again for coming on. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, sterlingsky.ca is my website. I am pretty much on every single social platform that exists. We also run a free forum over at localsearchforum.com if you want advice on anything to do with local SEO.
Thanks again to Joy Hawkins. Joy, stick around when I hit stop because the video will have to upload. And for everybody watching and listening, like I said, this is episode 804 of The Edward Show. 804 days in a row doing this podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.